One thing that a lot of people struggle with when starting to use Photoshop is how to use layers and understand how they work. So today I'm gonna try to explain this the best I can, so you finish this video wondering why you thought layers were complicated to understand. Let's jump into Photoshop. So I am inside of Photoshop, and what is going to be interesting for us today is this panel here. This is the layer panel, and here you can see that I have just one layer. So this rectangle here, this is a layer, and this is my photo. So as you can see, there are a few things going on in this panel, but here what we want is to understand what are layers for, and how to create one, how everything works. So here you can see, if you click on the plus, you can add empty layers. So let me try to explain to you what is actually a layer without being too abstract. So think about it like a piece of paper. So it's like if you were drawing something, and then on top of that you add a thin paper where you are going to add an effect on it, or just draw something else. And then on top of this thin piece of paper that you added on top of your main drawing, you add another one. And let's say that at some point you didn't like what you draw on the first layer, then you can just remove this piece of paper, and it's not going to remove any of the other drawing or any of the main drawing. And this is exactly how it works inside of Photoshop. So let me show you. Maybe let's say I wanna draw some white line here like this on a layer 1. And then on layer 2, I want to draw something like this, like I want to draw someone here. And then I create a new layer, and let's say I want to add a line like this, a blue line. And now I'm thinking, oh, I wish the blue line were behind the white line. So what I'm going to do is to take my layer that is on top and put it under the layer where there are the two white line. So as you can see, the order of your layers are going to be very important, and the thing that is at the bottom is behind every layers that is on top. Okay, so you can change the order and the organization of your layers. And here I'm only drawing stuff, but then when you start adding effect, it can be very important. And let's say here my client wanted me to draw this red person here, but then later on they regret that decision and they wanted to remove that thing red. Then the only thing I have to do is to toggle off this layer. And that's very interesting and very important, because that means I don't have to do everything on top of this image directly. I can just add piece of paper, and when I don't want something anymore, I can just delete it or toggle off the layer that is on top of my photo. Okay, so here that was to explain you what is a layer for. But now let's do a real world application. I'm going to create a new layer and add some glow. So what I'm gonna do is to choose a color, like a bright color, something like this, and then I'm going to change the mode of my layer. So here this is probably something for another video, but quickly, this is what it does. Here I'm just painting one color on the layer, and if I change the blending mode, the look is going to be different, as you can see. So here I'm going to choose something like overlay. I'm going to erase that. And you can see that I am going to be able to add some effects and help the glow on my image. So as this is not the topic of this video, I'm going to speed up this part. And as you can see, this is before and this is after. I've been able to add some glow on top of my photo on a new layer. Now let me add some, maybe let's do some color grading, and I'm going to go to adjustment and choose one adjustment layer. So here you have different adjustment, and when you click on one, here I'm gonna choose color balance. You can see it's coming here in the layer panel, and if you click on the adjustment, you can have the properties here and you can do your adjustment. And this is also a layer. Here you can see there is a little rectangle. This is a mask, and this is the video that I'm going to share with you on Sunday, so stay tuned. I'm going to talk about mask on the next video. So here, as you can see, I have my adjustment layer. I'm gonna do some adjustments, and you can see this is before and this is after. Let's say I want more yellow in the highlights. Before and after, before and after. And just like that, I can keep stacking my layers. So here, let's say I want to do some cleaning. So I just double click on the name to rename it, but you can also right click and click on rename. So let's say I want to remove more like cleaning actually my photo. So I'm gonna be using a combination of tools. I do have a video about the cleaning tools, so I'm gonna link it to this video. Okay, so here I did some cleaning. This is before and this is after. Let's say I actually didn't want to remove what was happening on this wall here. What I can do is to just take the eraser tool and erase what I did on this layer. And that way, I am not removing the wall photo, I'm just removing what I did on this layer. It's also not removing my effect, it's not removing the glow that I created, it's only removing the cleaning that I did on this layer. So once again, think of layer like pieces of paper that you stack on top of each other, and then when something is not quite interesting anymore, you just take this piece of layer and you remove it, or you just toggle it off, because here we are working on a digital software, so we can do that. But the goal to work with layers is that everything is non-destructive, so you don't have to edit your photo directly on the photo, but by creating layers, and you can create as many layers as you want, and that way you can always come back to the previous step. Hope that this is more clear. If this isn't, please let me know in the comments, and I will be happy to answer all of your questions to make it more clear.